Knight was saying, what was the guy from Solar Records was like, okay, give me all your stuff and I'm gonna take it, get y'all a deal. And Suge Knight was like, no, no, you don't need to take all the stuff. Tell me what I need to do. So you right.
Right. A lot of them, because they had, look, let's look at it a different way. And I'm not trying to make excuses for people, but let's say you devote your whole life to the music business and they didn't trick you out of all your money. Now you're 60 years old. You really don't have a good means for income. So they telling you, look, go sign this young dude. So then it happened to you, and all you're thinking about is feeding your family. So then you go do something that's less than honorable. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's honorable to me if I say, look, I can get you a deal, but I need to take 20%. You know, that's honorable. But to just take it and not educate, that's less than honorable. And so what I'm saying is I'm not sure Puff knew the game when he was in the game. You know what I'm saying? He learned it. And so then he couldn't revert the damage he had did. So now fast forward 25, 30 years later, now he's trying to correct some of his wrongs. Because you know, a lot of stuff that happened in the 90s, we'll call it caught up. You know how people say, man, I caught a charge? That means you was just doing something. You wasn't really planning to get in trouble. It just jumped off and you didn't think. You know, Doug said, jump in the car. I jumped in the car. I ain't know he had guns in the back, and I seen it in the seat, but I ain't paying no attention to the shotgun in the back seat. Then I'm riding, the police pull us over, and then I catch a case. You know, and I think that's how the music business was. They jumped in the game without a lot of knowledge. The lawyers that they were relying on basically worked for the label. You know, some lawyers would tell you some stuff, but they weren't looking out for you for real, for real. They was looking out for their percentage, their cut, trying to get you a quick payday. And what turned out to be very valuable, you know, we talking millions and millions of dollars, they got you to sell for $100,000. So now you're trying to figure out how to come up. So that's why in the 90s, people that signed in the 90s was more about their show money. They was like, how much can I get a show so I can quickly get to $1 million through shows? Jay-Z said, I'm going to make $10,000 a day, 2 nights a week, Friday and Saturday, for a year. I'm going to be a millionaire. That's what he did. So everybody back then was looking at their show money and other avenues, even Puff. Puff wasn't making all that much money at Bad Boy. Why? He went and got a deal selling clothes. He started Sean John so that he could make money. And that's why they came up with the 360 deal, because artists were taking the marketing dollars, or not the dollars, but the marketing success that the record company gave them and flipped it into a clothing deal or a licensing deal and go get that money. So they could get money from over here and over here. But the label then decided that, well, if we're going to market you and blow you up, Puffy, and you're going to go get a deal, a clothing deal, we need to share in that income. So they came up with the 360 deal, which basically says they share in all your avenues of income. So if they sign you to the label and then you blow up like Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or Young Thug or one of them, and then you go start a clothing line, the record company shares in that income. You go start I think Snoop got his own line of medicinal marijuana. If he was in a 360 deal, they would get part of that money. I see some that got Rick Ross got Wingstop. If he was on a 360 deal, they would get some of that money. So back then, a lot of things, you know, it's a learning curve. So I'm happy to see that he gave the publishing back. What I really would like to see is people giving the knowledge back, because it's good to give them their publishing, but it's better to tell these young kids that's coming up, the Lil Yachty's, the whoever's new NBA young boy, NLE Chopper, it's better to talk to these young cats and give them the game. Because when you give them the game, then the industry can't take advantage of them. The same way in the NBA. If you're in the NBA, you should be talking to LeBron James, you know, Magic Johnson. Just how do you keep your money? You know, because I looked, if you look it up, they say 48% of NBA players that became millionaires are broke in their 50s and 60s. When I mean broke, I don't think they necessarily mean go out and get a job broke. I think they might mean that because it said they're broke. But I'm assuming that it just means they're not living on the lifestyle that they had in the NBA. But that's because either they didn't seek knowledge from the elders to figure out how to, like Allen Iverson, for example. Now, Allen Iverson said, and I believe it was Julius Erving. Allen Iverson said in an interview, and if it wasn't Julius